Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you for Bhagavad Gita as it is chapter number 3, Karma Yoga. Text number 1. Arjun Uvacha Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhir Janardana Tatkim Karmani Bhore Mam Niyojayasi Keshavaha. So now, after hearing the entire Gita in summary, basically in chapter number 2, our Arjuna is now little bit confused. So he's saying that, oh Janardana. So Janardana means one who is taking care of entire population. Hmm. Oh Keshava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare? If you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work. So in chapter 2, Krishna has introduced Buddhi Yoga, Krishna consciousness. In that, actually, Krishna said that use your intelligence. Don't be attached to your fruitive activities. So Arjuna understood as a normal person. Normal person, as a any person will understand that those who have taken to godly lifestyle, that means they do not have to work. You know, they are like the people who give up everything, the samsar and the fruitive activities. So that is a misunderstanding that Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga doesn't mean you have to give up everything and go to secluded place and chant Hare Krishna. No, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is wherever we are, whatever our psychophysical nature is, we have to actually surrender our activities to Krishna. We have to act in such a way so that Krishna will be pleased. That is Buddhi Yoga, that is Krishna consciousness. But generally, people understand that if we work, then we'll get reaction. And if you give up work, renunciation, we don't get reaction, we are liberated. That is the general understanding. व्यामि श्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयो अहम आपनुयाम. So my intelligence is bewildered because Krishna says that give up your attachment and work and fight. Use your intelligence and fight. So that is why he's saying my intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be the most beneficial for me. So, Prabhupada writes, it is generally, generally it happens that if we give so many concepts in one class, then nothing comes decisive. Everybody gets disturbed. What actually is the conclusion? So second chapter actually contains so many things. Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, then work without future desire, then how neophyte works, so and so forth. So all the knowledge is not organized properly. That's why Arjuna is confused. That's why Krishna now in third chapter now and again fifth chapter is clearly uh, solving this confusion. What is renunciation and what is work? So how the normal karma means people do anything for whatever they want the result from that particular sense gratification or any result, that is karma. But in karma yoga means they act, they do the same thing but for one's upliftment, for they want to offer it to Krishna, that is karma yoga. So Krishna says, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, लोकेस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघा ज्ञान योगेन सांख्यानां कर्म योगेन योगिनां. The Lord says that, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. So we have seen Jnani, then the yogi, right, and bhakti and bhaktas. So here he says there are two classes. One class is inclined to understand it by empirical or philosophical speculation. They have tried to understand God realization by mental speculation, philosophical speculation. That is Sankhya Yoga. Okay, let us, like, in laboratory, what the doctors or scientists they do, they just break everything up. Okay, this proton, neutron, number, so and so forth, whatever it may be. So try to understand things separately. So this is one way, and second is by devotional service. So Jnana Yoga is a Sankhya Yoga. And Jnani means their process is Sankhya Yoga. And it's here Yogi is Bhakti Yogi. Their process is Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga is also called as Buddhi Yoga. So now Jnanis, they follow the Sankhya. What is their understanding? What they do, they analytically they study the nature of spirit and matter. Right? That is Sankhya Yoga. And this is the subject matter for persons who are inclined to speculate and understand things by experimental knowledge and philosophy. So if you bring them to the classroom and teach them the Vedas already, so everything is done. Just you hear and learn. Shruti, Smriti, Puranadi. They said, no, we want to understand it by our own experience. Okay. So that is this class of men. So they want to try out their use intelligence, speculate. This could be like this. Why this is happening like that? And second class is Bhakti Yoga, where they simply follow what is already been researched, and by that they can control their senses and they can attain the liberation. So Prabhupada writes, these both yogas are very important. I mean, in the sense, though these are not two different things. But one thing is that Sankhya Yogi, by intelligence, they try to understand then what is matter, what is spirit. So they segregate all matter and they come to the understanding of Atma and then Paramatma, who is God. And Bhakti Yogi directly starts what? Serving God. Just by the understanding, by the order of spiritual master and the instructions of the scriptures, they understand that there is a God always providing Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kama. So just surrender unto him and start working. Start serving him and be happy. So one is trying to come to first level, and second, when you come, Sankhya Yoga means the end of Sankhya Yoga is to come to conclude that Krishna is one who is to be served. Since he is not in this material world, and he is not the material, he is not matter, he is God. And second step is Bhakti Yoga directly starts. He doesn't need to do any research. So these two are compared to like religion and philosophy. Both are important. We don't need to be blind followers. We also need to have all knowledge. So Gita contains entire Jnana Yoga section, 13 to 18. How the Prakriti works, the three modes and how the jivas utilize their nature and they get involved in all three modes of material nature. They take different kinds of body, how nature works, how the world works. So Jnana is important. But the main thing for Bhakti Yoga is not Jnana. Use the Jnana to properly follow Bhakti Yoga. So both are important and we can't neglect anyone. So just like religion and philosophy, both are like integral part. If we have a religion without philosophy, say somebody may say anything. So what is any religion? he can start one stone. He can paint one stone and say, okay, he is a god and he is our religion. What is your philosophy? No philosophy. So that is only sentiment. Yeah? Okay. Somebody might find, this stone is very special. It must be God. That is sentiment. There is no philosophy connected to it. And if somebody has philosophy without religion, that is mental speculation. Like, for example, you can say somebody may come up with an idea, philosophy, that, oh, if we live in a clean atmosphere, we can live longer. So let us clean everything, you know, clean the world, the plastics, everything. That is their philosophy. But what is religion? I mean, there is nothing like concrete substance. In the sense, their philosophy is their life. But we need to understand that both are needed in Krishna consciousness. Uh, we have to use the knowledge and use that knowledge to utilize our propensity, karma, yoga, to offer it to Krishna satisfaction. That is Bhakti Yoga. Like that. So, Sankhya Yoga, while doing Sankhya Yoga, people become purified because they don't enjoy sort of. Sankhya Yoga means, like Yani means, we say, those who declare that just by accepting saffron and danda, you are liberated, you become Narayan. There is no purification required. And they live like that. But Krishna consciousness, we know that actually we have to come to the particular purified stage, then you can take renunciation. So there is no need of prior purification for Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is itself the purificative process. Keep the phone. Okay. It is the direct method of devotional service. It is simultaneously easy and sublime, and it purifies the one who is performing it under the guidance of spiritual master. So Krishna says the general understanding he is refuting now. न कर्मणाम अनारंभाम नैष्कर्म्यम पुरुषो अश्नुते न च संन्यस्तनादेव सिद्धिम समधिगच्छति. Not by merely abstaining from work, just by giving work can one achieve freedom. Problem is, they say if we work, we get either good or bad reaction and we have to come back. Reaction means is the bondage. So work means bondage. So what they do? Just give up the work and then we are free. But Krishna is saying, no, just by giving up work, you cannot become free from reaction. And nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. Just by accepting saffron and danda, you cannot attain liberation. No. You have to still act for satisfaction of Krishna. So both misunderstandings are there in the general populace. That's why Arjuna is representing this general populace. If one performs, take up to the renounced order without any prior purification, in the sense, he come to under the guidance, he purifies his existence by performing whatever his sacrificial nature, offering it to Krishna. And then, if he doesn't do that and accept the renunciation order, then he will create generally disturbance in the society because he will not follow what is the given, what is the required. So Krishna says, first of all, understand, just by giving up work, you cannot become free from reaction. And just by accepting renunciation, you cannot become liberated. It's not. So you have to work. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jato tishtati akarmakri. Karyate hi avasya karma sarve prakriti jaiguna. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Whatever we have done, number 5. Now this is fifth number. whatever we have actually acquired in previous life, according to that, we get a body and we have helplessly we have to act. We are forced to act in this material world. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So this is a law. The point is now there is not a question of embodied life, but it is the nature of soul to be active. Soul means active, a desire and work, act. The only thing is for whom he is acting, that is important. Without spirit, soul, material body cannot act. So it is better actually that he should work for Krishna, even though he is not pure. So Krishna, Prabhupada writes in Bhagavatam verse that त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मम चरणाम्बुजम हरेर भजन अपक्व तथा पते ततो यदि यत्र को अभद्रम अबुदमुष्य को वार्ताप्तो अभजताम धर्मताम. That your activities are going to bind you in this material world. So you start akarma, start performing bhakti yoga, and even if you could not perform it perfectly, or you give it up, still there is no loss for the soul. Soul will always have a credit. But if he carries out all the injunctions of purification in Shastra, but could not offer it to Krishna, then whatever he gets, it's going to be actually taken away from him. It is not beneficial to him for long. That is the main thing. So Krishna says, Karmendriyani sanyamya yah aste manasasmaran. Indriyarthan vibudhatma mithyacharasa uchyate. So one who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. So Kali Yuga verse, this is actually very powerful. So there are many pseudo pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness, but make a show of meditation, while actually dwelling within the mind upon the sense object. Such pretenders may also speak dry philosophy in order to bluff sophisticated followers. But according to this verse, they are the greatest cheaters. So even Hiranyakashipu also had spoken the philosophy to his mother and sister-in-law. Oh, everything is in the Lord's hand, what we can do. And after that philosophy, he said, let us kill the Lord. So, for sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity of social order, but if one follows the rules and regulations of his particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence. So, but he who makes a show of a yogi while actually searching for object of sense gratification must be called a greatest cheater. So, sthane sthita shrutigata tanuvan manobhid. Wherever you are situated, whatever your profession is, act, perform that as an act of sacrifice. Then that will progress you gradually. Keeping in mind that I am doing it for Krishna's sake. And that will purify us. But if we try to give it up everything and just for want of living, if we accept the renounced order, then it is like a pretension. And he cannot purify his mind. And his yogic meditation has no value. Better than that is, Krishna says, yastu indriyani manasa niyambya rabate arjuna karmendriyehi karma yogas asakta sa vishishyate. He says, on the other hand, somebody is pretending to be a renounced order, but his mind is not purified because he has not followed the prescribed duties properly. On the other hand, a sincere person tries to control the active senses by mind and begins karma yoga, then Krishna consciousness. He cannot, see, point is, our psychophysical nature is we have to work. Example here is Arjuna. Arjuna is a warrior, a kshatriya, passionate. So he cannot meditate. He cannot be a brahmana and ask bhiksha. He cannot do that. He is a kshatriya, means he has to show his prowess to protect someone. That is Kshatriya. Kshatriya means Kshatrayate iti Kshatriya. He has to show his prowess to protect someone. So that is his karma yoga, Krishna consciousness. If he does that without attachment, then he is by far superior. But Arjuna is saying, "Oh, let me renounce this war and be intelligent, and let me become a Brahmana or renounce war." Now, but Krishna says that is pretension. The point is, you are running away from your position, duty. You are not purified yet. So instead of becoming pseudo-transcendentalist for the sake of wanton living, it is far better to remain in one's own position, sthane sthita, whatever you are doing, and execute the purpose of life. That is to get free from the material bondage and enter into kingdom of God. So nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. Our goal is self-interest is to reach Vishnu. And that's why entire Varna ashram is constituted by Krishna himself. Varna and ashram, four Varna, four ashram. Wherever you are situated, do your activities at the same time, offer it to Krishna. Gradually, you will purify your existence. No need to jump off from one Varna to another, one ashrama to another. Not possible, not needed. So, it is Prabhupada writes, a sincere sweeper in the street is far better than a charlatan meditator who meditates on for the sake of making a living. So, this is entire thing Krishna is saying to Arjuna, don't try to get out of this war. What you do? Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jayo hi akarmana. Sharira yatra pichate na prasidhet akarmana. Perform your prescribed duty. Fight. For doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. We have to work. Whatever work we have to work. Then body actually is maintenance happens. So work should not be given up capriciously without purification of materialistic propensities. So now he is just giving up because he sees, I cannot kill my relatives. That is his intention. If he sees someone outside of he may be, convinced about fighting. But now he has to give up. But he is not purified yet. So if one is not purified, then not in war, but outside he will show, oh, I am powerful. So why not show here you are powerful? Okay? If you become renounced order and then start begging, and somebody will say, I will not give. Somebody may chastise you. You are hatta, why you are asking, why you are begging? Then you will take your stick and you start beating him. So instead of that, you take a bow and arrow and fight. That is your propensity. So best is yajnarthat karmano anyatra. Yajnarthat karmano. Our activity should be yajna, sacrifice. All activity should be sacrifice. Anyatra, if you don't do that, otherwise, lokoyam karma bandhana. Loko means 14 lokas. 14 planetary systems are there. So if you do not offer your work to Krishna, then that result of that work will take you one of the 14 planets, bandhana. Lokoyam karma bandhana. Tadartham. Tad means therefore. Artha karma konteya. That's why, my dear Arjuna, do your activity for his pleasure, for him. What will happen? If you do it for Krishna or Vishnu, Mukta Sangha Samadhi. You will get freed from all kinds of reactions. So Samachara means we have to do our activities perfectly as a sacrifice for Krishna. Then actually you will be free from bondage, not otherwise, not running from the work. So Yagyo vai Vishnu. Actually Yagya means to please Vishnu. It is like directly pleasing Lord Vishnu. So that should be our background thought while performing any kind of activity. Uh, Whatever is our prescribed duty, we should be thinking that by this I want to please Lord Vishnu. And Krishna now says, this is why, this is how I have created yajna. Sahayagya praja sruštva purovacha prajapati anena prasavishwadhvam eshavo astvishta kamadhuk. In the beginning of creation, Krishna said, I have created all creatures and I sent them in the generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, be thou happy by this yajna sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. So, what is the background of this creation? The souls do not want to live with Krishna. They say we want to enjoy independence. So, Krishna says, okay. So, those who are less contaminated or powerful, they are the demigods. In the sense, they are the powerful people. And those who want to enjoy, okay, then he said, anyway, I am going to provide everything for your living in this world. Isn't it? And I was supplying you in the spiritual world also. Now what you have to do, unless you practice the giving, trying to please someone, sacrifice in your life, they will never come to the end of, that is, complete surrender to me. So that's why he created yajna, different kinds of yajna, Indra yajna, Ganpati yajna, so all yajna, because somehow in the Vedas, people will do yajna to get something, and they will get it. I have created, through demigods, I will give you. And then you'll say, oh, something I get. That means I have to do yajna. Keep doing yajna. Then intelligent person will think, oh, I keep doing yajna, and whatever I get, that gets vanished. So what I should get, that remains permanent. Where is that yajna? Then he says, okay. Then satisfy Vishnu, liberation. Okay. But unless he has a practice of doing yajna, he will never come to Krishna. So that's why Krishna says, I have created both this. I have created yajna and all the ingredients also, so that you live happily by doing yajna, eat prasad, and then achieve the liberation. So, the main purpose is everybody should achieve liberation. But in between, they have to do this. What? Yajna. So in Kali Yuga, what is the yajna now? We cannot do elaborate yajna. So Krishna has given, as the Lord Chaitanya came, he said, do Sankirtan yajna. Try to please Krishna by chanting his holy names. And then you can purify. You can get liberated. So there is a mutual understanding between this. The men on this planet and the demigods, who are the in charge of all the items, all the five elements. Indra, Chandra, Surya, Vayu. They provide rain, water, fire, everything, right? Without that, we cannot live. So, Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu parasparam bhavayantah shreya parama vapsa. So, demigods being pleased by sacrifices, if you do sacrifices, will also please you. And thus, by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. So, there are two yajnas. If we do specific yajna, for example, Indra yajna. So in that also we have to satisfy Vishnu only first, and that prasad goes to Indra, and then your desire gets answered. But if your entire yajna is for satisfaction of Vishnu, then all the demigods automatically get satisfied, because you are now watering the root of the plant. So entire plant gets nourished. That's why the yajna, the Vedas recommend you do yajnarthat, to you do your sacrifices to please Krishna. It's like watering the root of the plant. Because the demigods are empowered administrators of material affairs. They are in charges of air, light, water, and all the benedictions for maintaining the body and soul together. And so that what we can do, so these demigods are actually innumerable assistants of the Lord and they are the different parts of the God body, right? So just as the food is provided to the stomach, entire body gets nourished. Similarly, when the water is given to the root of the plant, the entire plant gets nourished. Similarly, if you uh, uh, please Achyuta, then all demigods become satisfied. So see, very important two analogies. Watering the root and providing food to the stomach. So devarshi bhutam nirnam pitranam na kinkaro nayam rini rajan. Sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam pariritya kar. So Mukunda liberation is if we surrender to Krishna fully. And next is यथा तरोर मूल निषेचनेन तप्यन्ति तत्स्कंद भुजोपशा प्राणोपहाराच यथ इंद्रियाणाम तथैव सर्व अर्हणम अच्युतेज. This verse says, this Bhagavatam verse, but these two examples are providing food to stomach, water to the root. Similarly, Achyuta Ijya. Achyuta Ijya means worship of Achyuta will satisfy everyone, all the demigods. Because performance of yajna, what happens? All the activities are purified. So in our purport Prabhupada writes, Ahara Shuddho. So while in yajna, what happens? Our ahar becomes purified. Our eatables becomes purified. Ahara Shuddho, Sattva Shuddhi. Our existence becomes purified. Just like living unclean and living clean. So by eating the remnants of sacrifice, our existence becomes purified. Ahar Shuddho, Sattva Shuddhi.
Sorry, bro, to disturb, but this is a duster for this room.
Sattva Shuddho Dhruva Smriti. Once your existence is purified, what happens? Dhruva Smriti means our finer tissues in our brain becomes sanctified. Sattva Shuddhi. And then Dhruva Smritir Lambhe Sarva Granthinam Vipurmoksha. When memory is sharpened, sanctified, then actually one can think about the liberation, path of liberation. Otherwise, he will always think, what is lacking in my life? Entire memory, our existence will be thinking about what is lacking. I have not tasted this, I have not gone here, I have done so and so forth. But unless by eating, by eating remnants from sacrifice, ahar, shuddha, sattva, shuddha. When we come to the shuddha, sattva, first from tamo to raja to sattva, then slowly shuddha sattva, then our entire goal will be how can we get liberated. The finer tissue will think about that. Otherwise, it will be thinking about sense object. So that's why it is very, very important. So Prabhupada writes, this is a great necessity for the present day society. What? They should eat the sanctified food. Chapter number 3, verse number 11, purport, last part. So always eat prasad, sanctified. Then we can think about liberation. Right? And then what is the connection between yajna and the men and demigods? Yajna means Vishnu. So if you do try to please Vishnu, All the demigods are parts of the Krishna's body, Vishnu's body, different parts. So just as we pour water to the root of the tree, entire tree gets nourished. Leaves, branches, fruits and flowers. Similarly, when we put food into the stomach through the mouth, entire body gets nourished. Similarly, when we want all the necessities of life, air, light, water, and all other things, then instead of separately satisfying all the demigods, what we do? Satisfy Vishnu, so that all the demigods become right. Although anyway, you do any yajna, Indra yajna or any yajna, the main worshipping personality is Vishnu only. But in that particular yajna, the next remnant will go to that particular deity, and others will be deprived of. Because you doing that Indra yajna for child or whatever may be, it may be. But if you try to satisfy Vishnu, then automatically you are satisfying everyone, isn't it? If I eat something and nourished, so my right hand may be nourished. Is it my left hand can complain? Oh, I am not nourished. If it is okay, then it will naturally get nourished. So, so how can we please all 33 crore demigods very easily by one yajna? By satisfying Krishna, Vishnu. And in Kali Yuga, how you can do that? By chanting holy names. It's very simple. So, Ishtan Bhogan hi wo devaha dasyante yajna bhavita. Tairdattan ye pradayebhyo yo bhukte stena evaso. 12th verse. What happens? In charge of the various necessities of life, what happens when we do yajna and then Vishnu is pleased? Entire bhoga is offered to demigods also. They also need something na, to eat. Just like we eat prasad, so they also need, so they also get nourished. So the demigods being satisfied by the performance of yajna, they will supply all the necessities to you. Hai ki nahi? If you please someone, then whatever you have, that person has, he will give them. Hai ki nahi? So Indra will have rain, so take rain. Hawa, water, air, because they are pleased. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to demigods in return is a thief. So we will say, no, later we uh, actually the atheists, they say, why we have to do any again? I have earned it on my own. So they will not offer it. So that means we have taken from someone and holding it. That is stealing. So these verses also there in connection. So 10, 11 and 12, these are the verses where we understand how there is a coordination between men and demigods, so that both can actually coexist by pleasing each other, by doing yajna and achieve liberation. So the demigods are authorized supply agents on the behalf of Krishna, Vishnu. Therefore, they must be satisfied by performance of yajna. So there are three kinds of yajna for different kinds of demigods, but all are ultimately offered to Vishnu only. For one who cannot understand what the personality of Godhead is, sacrifice to demigod is recommended. So not all are on the planet, on the plane or stage. They can understand. Oh, we have to offer it to Krishna. So Krishna said, "Don't, no worry. If you find any of my representative suitable, you offer him. No problem. That is one step ahead. Rather than being an atheist, you accept my representative, any demigod. I will keep your faith steady." So Krishna helps because Krishna helps this? How Krishna helps the performer's faith to be steady for any demigod? Practically, how he does it? How he understands? Because Krishna as Paramatma is present in both heart, the performer and the demigod. So both, so in the heart of a performer, he understands how he is so much drawn to this particular demigod. So he makes him that faith steady. You know, लोग कितने है ना, हम वो लोग भी थे ना, कुछ पर्टिकुलर थे ना, ये मंडे या ट्यूसडे इधर का उधर हो गया तो भी मैं इधर जाएगा ही जाएगा ही. दैट इज फेथ, है कि नहीं? दैट्स फेथ. So Krishna protects that faith so that he can gradually increase that faith. Okay. So we have to understand that by the order of Krishna, all the necessities of life that human society needs are supplied by the demigods only. We can't neglect them, but we understand their position. What happens? We identify themselves as equal to the Lord. That is not important. I mean, that is not right understanding. So we do two extremes. Either give it up, nothing to do that, or all and all. सब सरीके है या फिर only Krishna. Like that. So Krishna is here mentioning how we have to cooperatively coexist. We need cooperation. So obviously our life is dependent on supplies from the Lord. Like that. So we have to. So the main aim of the human struggle is to attain liberation. So we should not keep ourselves fixed in this. Okay, do yagya, get prasad and be happy. No. Our main aim is to get liberated from this material world, to achieve the higher goal where we become detached from all the material desires. Because we had a desire, so we will try to satisfy it. But then intelligence develop by having prasad that okay, this is not the thing I want, higher thing, higher. And then higher we come to know that only Krishna's service can give me actual happiness. This is what Krishna's plan is. Entire creation of the world is, he says, because you are my children, so I will not give you up. I will give you chance and all provisions. Try your level best. And you have to come to me only, because that is also I am providing. But you will get frustrated because I have made it Dukhalayam Ashashvati. Even though you said, I will live here eternally, kitna bhi maar khaunga. Krishna says, no, I will kick you out and change the position. Idhar se udhar जा, udhar se idhar. Like that. But ultimately, you have to come to me. That is the provision. So he says, actually, don't become thief, share, like that. So devotees, what they do? Yajna shishta shinasanto muchante sarva kilbishai bhunjate te to agham papa ye pachanti atma karana. So devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins by just one act, because they eat food which is offered first for the sacrifice. Just by eating food which is offered to Krishna, all our sinful reactions are vanished. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. So right from the earning money to offering it to Bhoga to Lord, entire process should be for the satisfaction of Krishna. So I am earning money for what? Krishna's pleasure. Then I'll buy some ingredients for Krishna's pleasure. अच्छा चाहिए, fresh चाहिए for Krishna. Cut nicely for Krishna. Cook it nicely, clean. arrange it nicely in a nice clean plate and offer it with heart full of gratitude. Oh, you have given it to me, though I am unworthy of. I have left you, but still you are providing me. Please accept it. And then that accepting, because now I have to sustain this body so that I can serve you better or think you about you. That grateful attitude, we accept it. Then karmani nirdahati. Karmani nirdahati means burn. Nirdahati means completely burn all the karmic reactions. So millions of births if you would have to take by normal calculation. But if we accept Sarvatmana, completely surrendering to Krishna, Krishna actually burns all this karmic reactions. The only thing now remain is how all the decisions of Krishna we accept it as well wishes. जो भी करते, then that depends on how much we are surrendered. So this is how life of devotee is. So when devotee accepts the food stuff offered to Krishna, then he can actually see Krishna everywhere. When he sees Krishna's presence everywhere, there is no matter, because he sees everything is a property of the Lord. So I cannot enjoy it, because otherwise I am a thief. So what can I do? I cannot give it up. I can use it for the proprietor, Krishna's service. And that way I benefit. I benefit. So what kind of yajna we do? Actually, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, all these are yajna for a devotee. By that, what he does, he keeps himself away from all kinds of contamination of sinful association. Because all these activities, senses, eyes, ear, nose, we do all sinful activities. But if you utilize that for yajna, then our sinful association is in the material world is gone. We only associate with Krishna. So these 9 processes of devotional service are very important. अन्नाद भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्याद अन्न संभवः यज्ञाद भवन्ति पर्जन्यो यज्ञ कर्म समुद्भवः. So all living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from the rains. Rains are produced from performance of yajna, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. So this is the cycle of existence. How everything rests on yajna. And I mean, basically, yajna means our prescribed activity. So activity backed up with intention. So yajna means one act becomes yajna, one act becomes the binding action. If it is for us, then every act will bind us to this material world. But if we think of Krishna's pleasure, then we are doing moment after moment yajna only. So Prabhupada gave one very powerful comparison example. He says how the food offered to Krishna affects our existence. When there is an epidemic disease, an antiseptic vaccine, protects a person from the attack of such an epidemic. COVID आया था क्या था वो what vaccine काम किया मालूम नहीं but true vaccine was there. If it would have been there, then it would have helped us. So disease is there, epidemic, but vaccine is there, then protected. Similarly, food offered to Lord Vishnu and then taken by us makes us sufficiently resistant to material affection. So epidemic was there. Still, you have to live in this material world. Epidemic to आजू बाजू में है. But if that protects you, the vaccine will protect. Similarly, we will live in this material world. Body है तब तो लेना ही पड़ेगा. But what will protect us is that food offered, prasad. And one who is accustomed to this practice is called a devotee of Lord. The devotee means one who eats only. So Kali Yuga is very powerful. He will distract you from all everything कि नहीं ये बहुत अच्छा है इधर तो पावरफुल मिलता है सब टेस्ट माया विल वर्क तो उसको तो भले कितना भी टेस्टी ना लगे बट प्रसाद ही खाना है। खुद कुक कर so like that is very important. So Prabhupada writes how vegetarian food is the only thing we have to offer. Flesh is not allowed, and for even for the one who is non-vegetarian, he also has to depend on Krishna only, right? So there is nothing like even big factories are there. How the factory worker will stay? For factory, we need all the raw materials, which will be provided by Krishna. So there is no existence without the help of Krishna, like that. So even though big factories are there, but still they have to eat food only, which will be given by rain, which will be required. What? Yajna. So yajna specifically is the Sankirtan yajna prescribed for this age. Like that. So karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmaksharam samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajna pratishthitam. So we are here. What is the chakra? Living entities required food. Food comes from rains. Rain comes from yajna. Yajna comes from prescribed duties. So prescribed duties means regulated activities. For a particular person, there is a prescribed activities given by Vedas. And Vedas are directly manifested from Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's like his breathing. So consequently, all pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. So everything is coming from Krishna. So actually, it should go to Krishna. That is the circle is that is complete. So everything should be done as an acts of sacrifice. So that's why it is said yajnarthat karma. That all the necessities of work should be for the satisfaction of Krishna only. Okay. Hmm. So again, 15 verses we have completed. Let us do little revision. Right. So we started with confusion of Arjuna. What is the confusion? Oh, you have given me a confused idea whether to renounce or work. You are actually telling me a renounced person is happy, and but you are telling me to fight. What should I do? Krishna says there are always two kind of people who will try for liberation. One is Jnani, who will use Sankhya Yoga. And there is a Yogi, Bhakti Yogi, who will use Karma Yoga. But both are actually same in the sense there are two layers, two steps towards Krishna. So Jnani is one who will do analytical study of the entire material nature to segregate matter and spirit. And he will come to conclusion that Krishna is supreme. I mean, Krishna is not matter. Everything is from matter and Krishna is. And yogi will directly start bhakti yoga, start worshipping Krishna. So he will, karma means only karmi is one who is living for himself. But yoga means he does everything for his satisfaction. Whatever activity he is doing is offering. That is yoga, karma yoga. So there are two things. So the Sankhya Yoga conception is just by accepting sannyas, danda and order, dress, we are liberated. That's not true. So you have to, even though you become sannyasi, you have to work, you have to act for the satisfaction of Krishna. And what to speak of sannyasi, nobody can live. Nobody can live even once a moment without work. Because soul means action. Naik kaschit kshanamapi. Nobody can be without work. We cannot even maintain our body without work. We have to work. So don't be pretender. Just by maintaining the body, don't be dependent on others and accept the sannyas order. Work. So one who actually sthane sthita, whatever his prescribed duty is there, he acts and he offers to Krishna. He is better than one who is giving up the work. So Krishna is actually telling Arjuna, you are Kshatriya, your duty is, you are passionate warrior. You cannot become a Brahmana and do Bhiksha. He says Bhiksha is अच्छा है तो लोड नहीं लेने का Brahmana life. But he says you are not properly purified yourself to become a Brahmana. Prescribed duty, one who does perfectly, then he can become renounced. If you don't do that and you become a Brahmana, then your passionate work, nature will come up some way and you will fight with others in a renounce order. And instead of that, you fight now, which is your prescribed duty. Nobody, you will not be incurring any sin by that. Kshatriya means he has to fight, right? So overall, everybody should do his activity as a yajna, satisfaction of Krishna. Otherwise, lokoyam karma bandhana. So this ninth verse is very important to understand. Yajnarthat karmano. All actions should be done as
Offering to Krishna.
yajna, offering to Krishna. Anyatra means otherwise. If you do otherwise, lokoyam karma bandhana. How many lokas are there? Planets?
Okay.
14. One of the planet you have to go. You will get bound to one of the planets. 14 planets. Tadartham karma konte. That's why, my dear friend, do karma for tad, Krishna. How samachara? Perfectly. So people do activity, लेकिन बोलता है करना है क्या करना है करना पड़ रहा है. Not like that. Wholeheartedly offer every action to Krishna. Vishnu. What will happen? Mukta Sangha. All sinful reactions will go. You will be free from all reactions. So it's concluded in that. Then Krishna starts 10 to 12. Then that's why I have created this system of demigods who on my behalf will supply you everything, what you needed, but you offer it to them through me. If somebody is not understanding me, then let them offer it to them, demigods, because they are actually my representative. But actually, they are indirectly offering it to me only. Right? So, the Krishna, from Krishna Vedas come, from Vedas prescribed activities come, prescribed activities. We can do yajna, from yajna, the rains comes, from rains, grain comes, and from grain, we can subsist. For what? Doing again yajna. And then we can purify our life. So, evam pravartitam chakram, nanu vartayati haya, aghayur indriya ramo, mogha partham sa jivati. But people will not, all people will not follow that. One who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice, thus established by the Vedas, certainly leads a life full of sin. Our दो भाई कौन से वो मारा नित्यानंद जगाई मदाई. सो चित्रगुप्त had written so many scenes. बोला अरे बढ़ गया वो पूरा, तो भी वो उनका सीन कुछ चलता रहा. अघायुर सिन इंद्रियाराम. हाँ. So full life full of sin. So living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such person lives in vain. Their own life का मेन क्या है? मेरी, आई मीन क्या बोलते हैं उसको? ड्रिंक,
Mary.
हाँ वो लाइक दैट. But what is ultimately uh, accumulating? Bank balance पूरा सिंक है. No piety. So in third canto, uh, when Duryodhan actually blasphemes Vidura, get out of here, you are the spy of Pandavas. There Prabhupada writes that by pious activities, Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan became Kuru dynasty. They got birth in Kuru dynasty. So very pious dynasty. But because now they have got rid of all the piety, so now they are degrading. I mean, it's the time now came. So they are now offending Vaishnava, Vidura, Mahabhagavat. That means now they are gliding down to hell now. So that is what happening. So human birth means all piety together. तुमको वीजा दिया, आ गया, एटीएम कार्ड फुल है. बट हाउ यू यूज इट करना है, उसका रेटिंग करना, डबल करो, 10 कार्ड बनाओ, तो तुमको जाना है, पाइटी बढ़ाओ. rather than उसका जीरो हो रहा है, टैम टैम टैम, तो लोअर पीसी 84 लाख पीसी. So life has been. This is what is the entire understanding. Okay. So yasmat yastu atmaratir eva syad आत्मतृप्तस्य मानव आत्मन्येव च संतुष्टः तस्य कार्येण विद्यते. Now from 17 onwards, Krishna's understanding, he gives karma yogi who is detached over, who is detached, how he lives. One is person who is active and he is a karma yogi. Now detached karma yogi कौन? Karma yoga. So 10 to 16 is karma kanda to karma yoga, in the sense we understand, okay, offering to any offering yajna to any demigod is karma kanda. Karma kanda. So karma yoga, karma kanda. What is that difference? So karma kanda means any activity you do, you get return million times. ठीक है नहीं? 1000 रुपए डाला सभी, तो 10 लाख रुपए है, तो कर्म कांड. दैट्स व्हाई पीपल डू, बिकॉज उसमें मिलता है, कुछ वापस मिलता है, डिविडेंड्स ज्यादा है. कर्म योगा, कर्म करो एंड एक्टिविटी डालो, नो मटेरियल, स्पिरिचुअल गेन. क्या आएगा? मल्टी मल्टी स्पिरिचुअल गेन है. तो दैट इज योगा, दैट इज स्पिरिचुअल परफेक्शन, प्यूरिफिकेशन. सो by understanding the demigod worship, then little he will come to karma yoga. Now when he becomes karma yogi, how he lives 17 to 35, what kind of person is he? He says, for one who takes pleasure in self, karma yogi understands who he is. He is part and parcel of Krishna. So whose human life is one of the self-realization and who is satisfied in the self alone, fully satiated. For him, there is no duty. But for this, we need to follow duty for certain time. Then we can come to this stage. Arjuna directly cannot come. So first is Kanishta, then Madhyama, then Uttamadhikari, who understands everything perfectly. What is what? So Madhyamadhikari is also one who is struggling to go up, whose faith is not so strong. He cannot defeat others, neither he can be satisfied all the time, because he is also upgrading. But Uttam Adhikari is one who understands things from Krishna's perspective. So, due to being Krishna conscious for a long time, what happens? For many, many thousands of yajna performances, he becomes clean. This happens actually long, long time. He has to do yajna means he has to serve Krishna. And then he becomes self-illuminated. Krishna later says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam, yena mam upayanti. If somebody surrender to me, I give him intelligence that how can he come to me quickly? Okay, do this, do this. पर इतना चीट प्रोवाइड करते हैं एग्जाम में क्या बोलते हैं उसको कॉपी हाँ कॉपी तो कृष्णा से बता रही ये कर वो कर तो अंदर से दादा में बुद्धि बाहर से दिखेगा नहीं ये लिखना है कि नहीं लेकिन पहले कुछ तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा ना तो नहीं तो वो एक बाप अपने बेटे को बोलता है इंग्लिश का एग्जाम रहता है तुम तो लिखो उधर क्या तो वाई वाई का स्पेलिंग बोले एक झापड़ बोले वाई का स्पेलिंग भी नहीं आता तुमको तो क्या मैं पढ़ा हुआ क्या है उधर फिलिंग द ब्लैंक्स है तो द वाई स्पेलिंग बोलो बोले कभी तेरी तो तू तो टफर है तो वैसा नहीं चाहिए it should be actually come to the level where we can be prompted by Krishna and we can make use of it. Okay. तो एक ऐसा चाहिए नहीं तो ये फिलोसफी सुनते सुनते तुमको यानी सब लोग ड्राउन हो जाएंगे सो जाएंगे बीच में ऐसे डालना पड़ेगा अपने क्योंकि हम लोग नहीं है इस स्तर पे है क्या नैव तस्य कृते नार्थो ना कृते नेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चित व्यर्थ कश्चित अर्थ व्यपाश्रय 18 A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work. Neither he needs anything, neither he has any reason to not to perform. Nor he has any need to depend on any other living being. Completely dependent on Krishna. That is a Krishna conscious man. Self-realized. Tasma, therefore, asakta satatam कार्यम कर्म समाचार असक्तो ही आचरण कर्म परम आपनोति पुरुष therefore without being attached to fruits of activities one should act as a matter of duty because I have got this body I have this sacrificial nature my guru has given me this duty let me do this whether I get any credit or not I don't care for by working without attachment one attains supreme just by without any attachment, do just as a duty you do work, you have attained liberation. Because what is bondage? है कि नहीं तो करेगा क्यों फुकट में who will work for 30 days without salary है कि नहीं so attachment work that binds. So Prabhupada writes, to be a good man or a non-violent man is a personal attachment. But to act on behalf of Supreme is to act without attachment for the result. That is the perfect action for the highest degree. Recommended by Krishna to Arjuna. Do it for me. There are two things. One is, I think how I should serve. And the second thing is, how Krishna dictates through the Guru, how you should work. So we have to accept that order. Here Arjuna is thinking, I can serve you better by becoming a sannyas. Krishna says, no. ये तो मैं इनको पहले फर्स्ट इज माय प्रोजेक्ट इज टू किल द ऑल असुराज परित्राणा साधुना विनाशाय उनको मैं वैसे ही मार सकता हूँ बट आई हैव टू अपलिफ्ट एंड गिव क्रेडिट टू डिवोटीज एंड यू आर माय बेस्ट फ्रेंड दैट्स व्हाई आई एम गिविंग यू चांस तो करा तो ऐसा बोला लक्ष्मी तिलक लगाने जाने तो उल्टा नहीं मैं मुंह धो के आता है कि नहीं? ऐसा कृष्ण बोल रहे हो। अरे भाई क्रेडिट दे रहा हूँ तुमको, कुछ नहीं, मैंने मार दिया इनको सब। आई हैव किल्ड देम ऑलरेडी, जस्ट स्टैंड एंड डू दैट, रिमूव अटैचमेंट बस। ये मेरे गुरु है, मेरे भीष्म पिता है, साइड अधर्म का है, मारना है बस। कृष्ण इज सेइंग बिकॉज माय टास्क यू डू, कर्मण्येव हि संसिद्धिम आस्थिता जनकादया लोक संग्रहमेवापि संपश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि। सो 19th वर्ष का जो ट्रांसलेशन है, डज एनीबडी हैज एक्टेड लाइक दैट प्रीवियसली? बेटा बहुत सारे थे। किंग जस्ट लाइक जनका, they have attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Just they have done it. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. Because you are पांडवा, कुरु डायनेस्टी, सब लोग देखने वाले, वो बोले तू भाग गया तो हम भी भाग। Just to educate people what is the duty, you have to perform it perfectly. Just like Janak Maharaj. He had no want or attachment to anything. Still, he's acted like that. Janak Maharaj. Like that. Because this world works on this tattva. Yad yad acharati shreshth. Tat tat eve tarojana. Sayat pramanam kurute lokastat anuvartate. So, yesterday there was a one seminar. In that one movie clip they have shown. In that one vakil, he says that why, uh, so there are three types of papa. Papa, ati papa and mahapap, something like that. So it's a movie clip. It is why Ravana's, so papa can, normal papa, some stealing or something like that. That can be, you can do some, what do you call that? Pashatap, and some activity that can be washed away. Ati pap is one which is more severe than papa. Even that also can be, you know, uh, forgiven by some kind of rigorous punishment, self-torture or something like that. But Mahapap cannot be tolerated. He has to be hanged or he has to be killed. So Ravana, so he was killed, but he was not getting moksha. So he was asking Lord Shiva, I am your disciple, I am your, what do you call, chela. So Parvati said, "Arey, why you are not giving him darshan and some upliftment? Because if he says, then he'll get moksha by Krishna." He says, "I cannot do that because has done mahapap." So Parvati says, it can be atipap, okay? Aparan. So Krishna, though Shivji says, if Ravana has done, would have done the aparan, then it would have been atipap. But who has done the aparan? He accepted the form of saint. So for the eternity, what would have been the Yad Yad Acharati Shrestha? Everybody would have said, अरे ये तो अति पाप है, महापाप नहीं है. So let the entire populace understand that somebody who does it, it is a mahapap, cannot be tolerated. Understand? So whatever the great man performs, common one man follow. So that's why Arjuna has to be exemplary. Like that. So this is what is a. So Krishna says, okay. it- but that is for it is for want of any matter, material position. It is not going to do any character fall for any follower. You know, character is based on how you deal with five people: cow, brahmana, old man, then children, and women. So ideally, this should be protected. Beginning. If you take undue advantage or torture them, then that is a law. I mean, less character. I mean, gone character. Something. So Indra, when asking for Pruth's position and taking different kinds of things, that way it is not uh, like a. In fact, that has created. He has played a part to initiate all the bogus sadhu traditions. Later it will come to Kali Yuga. All whatever he has done, that is you can find in Kali Yuga, right? And so because that's individual position attachment to position, so that's why it is not taken very seriously uh, like that. Secondly, when Brahmaji came and he said, Prutu, stop this sacrifice, immediately he stopped. And when Indra saw, "Ki are baapre, I'm a Shatakratu and this 99 performer has better glory than me." Then Brahmaji said, and he immediately accepted. So in that status, there is a humility, Baba. There's credit is that हमारे इधर bank balance है billion or billion. उधर how humble one is and how one gets the mercy of Lord Brahma. Immediately, Indra actually tries to take dust of Prithu Maharaj's feet. He humbles himself. So that a temporary lack of character. समझ रहे ना? He immediately came to senses. Ravana didn't. मरेगा पर नहीं देगा. That's a Rakshasa. So Indra is not a Rakshasa. He is a uh, king of demigod who has so much opulence. And opulence means exploitation का mentality. He himself said, "Dik this position and all." When Brohaspati enters his assembly, everybody else was praising Indra. And some dance is going on. And suddenly Brohaspati comes. And he says, "Oh, now I have to bow down to him." And Brohaspati can actually understand by the there are many people who can understand just by the expression what is happening in that. So immediately he vanishes. And within that moment he understands, oh, what I did. He says, Dhikar ho mere position pe. Who will want to have such kind of seat where the intelligence goes to him? You cannot appreciate the entrance of Guru Maharaj. So वो पोजीशन ऐसा है कि उधर बैठा कि वो गाड़ी ये हो जाता है समझे ना if you are out of that seat you are okay but if you sit there immediately power but because you need a piety character to sit there nobody can go there ऐसा also फालतू समझ रहे हैं there is a difference between that so Krishna says what to speak of other नमे पार्थास्तु कर्तव्यम त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तम अवाप्तव्यम वर्त एव च कर्मणि अरे आई हैव नो वर्क आई डोंट नीड टू वर्क फॉर गेटिंग एनीथिंग देयर इज नो प्रिस्क्राइब्ड वर्क फॉर मी विद इन ऑल द यूनिवर्सेस आई डोंट वांट एनीथिंग नॉर आई हैव एनी नीड टू ऑब्टेन एनीथिंग बिकॉज आई सप्लाइड एवरीवन नित्यो नित्यानाम चेतना चेतनानाम एको बहुनाम जो विद्युताति काम देयर इज ओनली वन पर्सन हु इज सप्लाइंग unlimitedly to everyone from time immemorial. That is me. But still, yet I am engaged in prescribed duty because we have that position. Yadyad acharati shrestha. We have to do it. He says, if I don't do, what will happen? Yadihi ayam na varteyam jatu karmanya atandritah mama vartman vartante manusya partha sarvasya. For if I failed ever to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, oh partha, certainly all men would follow my path. कृष्णा ने किया ना, तुमको करना पड़ेगा. तो उसी देयु रिमे लोका न कुर्याम कर्म चेदहम शंकर सच करता श्याम उपहन्याम इमा प्रजा. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population. That is Sankara, Varna Sankara, unwanted. And I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. If the society do not have the proper character, the population of proper character, it will be hell. Again, just like 1960s hippies were there. रास्ते में एक एक महीना कपड़े नहीं पहनते थे, उधर ही टट्टी कर रहे थे. और some would not wear the dress also. We are free. That is the young population. So that is Varna Sankar. So society will never have a peace with such kind of one. So people will object, people will say, oh, our Krishna has done it. So that's why this is like that. So we'll stop here today. From 25, we will continue. Okay. Any question till now?
What is the exact work in Krishna consciousness? You said that everything what you should do to do for Krishna. So is it that list of work you should do and then stick to it?
We don't know what is, just like I told yesterday, that we don't know whether we are Shantaras, Dasaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalya, or Madhurya. You know, one may say, just like Arjuna saying, I can become a Brahmana. But we can't do that. By gradual progress, we can understand who we are. So that is what is our purification that will lead to what is our actual position. Similarly, right now we don't know our what should we do perfectly to offer it to Krishna. So that's why we completely are dependent on spiritual master. He says, okay, do everything. सुबह क्या करो, पुजारी बनो. दोपहर में कुकिंग करो. दोपहर में तुम जाके बिजनेस यानी जो भी करना है करो. I mean fund collection. Night में you do cleaning. I mean all sorts of work. So everything but you do for, so all activities for Krishna. Like that. So later we understand, oh, I can do perfect, better service, this service to Krishna. Are you getting later? Then he says, okay, you do this, like that. But the main thing is, our disease is we do anything for our pride. मैं पुजारी, पहला पुजारी हूं मैं, सुबह सुबह मैं आरती करता हूँ. दैट इज द मेन थिंग. सो वेदर यू आर पुजारी और मैं सब क्लीन करता हूँ, एनीथिंग, anyone can become proud. Bhikari भी proud रहता है, I have a penny. So that we have to take away. Everything what we are doing is to please Krishna. So that is yajna. That is Krishna saying perfection of your work. Whatever you do, you write books for Krishna. Perfection. You read, that is perfection. So background is to, main thing is to please Krishna. Okay.
Two questions. One is you said that from prescribed duty yajna comes.